Welcome to another episode of YDS You Don't Say. My name is Tapelo Liduma.
My name is Busiso, aka Siso Styles Muzolo.
Right. This is a platform where we come on. If you're tuning on for the first time, there's a platform where we come on as Amachita to have conversations around issues that affect us from day to day. It's a safe space.
Yeah.
It's a self-correct platform. And we're trying to do it right.
And this is episode 6, I think.
Didn't I say that? Yeah, six.
Of season 2.
Yeah, who do we have today?
Today we have this is to put Muzi Mthabela. We have a hot man late to put Muzi Mthabela. Say, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
It's really a pleasure to have you with us here today. So wesikhuluma nje topic nje interesting.
Sure.
You know, and my brother here, my light-skinned brother.
Colorism.
We'll introduce the topic.
Colorism. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about a topic that's really been making rounds on social media. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's called cancel culture. So cancel culture is all about people taking a stance that they will no longer be supporting certain acts, whether celebrities, artists, or brands, on the basis of what they've said or what they've done and they found to be wrong. So they decide that they'll no longer support you financially or morally or just emotionally.
AKA R. Kelly.
AKA
Bill Cosby. We can continue.
And but what we found amongst ourselves is that it mostly affects Amachita, because most of the times they get cancelled for things like abuse,
fraud, murder. There's a lot of things, you
Yeah.
know? And I think our cry as EYDS is, with the platform Amachita Kawategai. You know, it's the guys who are getting affected, and we care because we are gents, of course, and we want to raise a generation, or the next generation needs to learn from our mistakes, So I don't know, Hotmani, we'll be having conversations around this whole thing, and realize Guti, it's a matter of discipline. It's a matter of dealing about your issues, growing up, And so the question then would be, how important is it to deal or harness a sense of discipline before you find yourself being in a prominent position? Whether whether you become a musician, an artist, in fact, just any point of influence. How important is it for you to harness discipline at a young age?
I think in as you grow up, you have to invest in yourself. You have to build yourself first. Somebody once said, if you are going to be a leader, you must first lead yourself.
Wow.
And then see who follows.
Hey. Okay.
So it is very important to invest in yourself before you are followed by other people. For example, before Ushada, you have to be a good husband before you get married. You have to be a husband material before you actually get married. So unkosikazi wako, by the time you get married to her, she must know she's marrying a man. You must be responsible. That is why ekhaya ubudma ukhula makune inkomo ekhaya, a boy child is the one obelusi inkomo. And Motuyabega, that was a very strong responsibility from a young age. Ukuthi from that age when ase unakekela umcebo wala ekhaya. If kulahleke inkomo ubuyi la ekhaya. Kumele wenze sure ukuthi uyahamba uyofuna izwe lonke before you come back home and say inkomo ngiyitholi. Because the first question would be, uyicingile na? Where did you look for it? So that was a way of teaching us responsibility, to say, Ndoto, you are responsible for umcebo wala ekhaya, even as a little boy. So unfortunately these days there are no avenues that we can use to train ourselves to become responsible adults. Our education system is failing us. Ekhaya or malume, they are not doing a good job. Either ubaba ageko. So by the time you become a man yourself, you do not have as a frame of reference what it is to be a man. You do not have someone that you regard as a good man, as an idea. Mhlambe ubaba walapha or ubaba usibanibani or umama usibanibani, but we do not necessarily have obaba abaqotho these days. So it is very important to take therefore a responsibility as yourself to say, who am I? Discover yourself from a young age, so that by the time you have to account to someone, you already have skills of how to be a good father, a good politician, a responsible man, emphakathini.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think you highlight something that's very important in a sense of being taught responsibility at a young age.
Yeah.
And what we've seen now with people who have now assumed these positions of influence is that once they've now done things because of lack of discipline, it's almost difficult for them to come back to their position of influence again, because as a society I think we're very unforgiving, you know. But then my concern is, if that's the case, how do we then try to focus the energy or focus the attention to someone who's still coming up and saying it's very important to deal with issues? Because we come from a culture where even like talking or opening up about what you're struggling with, it's seen as a sign of weakness. And maybe my question would be, how important is it to deal with issues instead of just sweeping them under the carpet?
Because I mean, sorry to maybe just to add, I'm a cooler in a violent society community, let me just say, and when I'm out in all you know with it, I'm unnamed, you know. Ubona your father or your uncle, and now that's a norm for you, and then here you are, you're in a position of influence, and that's how you solve your problems. So then dealing with issues that affected you from home, besides now your own personal discipline, how important would that be?
You have to realize we're coming from a different era, and we are going towards a different era. We come from an era where Baba of a certain generation dealt with issues in a different manner. We come from an era where Ubaba and now we are unlearning certain things as this generation and as your generation. We are unlearning certain old ways that no longer work now, and we are learning at the same time new ways of how to deal with a woman who's powerful, how to deal with power, how to deal with money. We are new to money as abantu abamnyama. White people have understood money for a long time. When we were busy emasimini silima sihlakula ubhatata, abelungu, they were running the country. They were thinking about bigger things than just supplying food for the family. But now we are introduced to money. I get a tender, I make 2 million rands profit. The first thing I will do is buy motoka 1 million rands, instead of thinking about what it means to have money. Because we are new to it, we are going to take a few generations to actually understand what money is. So that comes with certain responsibilities of how to handle yourself. You grew up from a kaya ngenaluto. All of a sudden you're a CEO in Johannesburg. You've got all this money. You've got all these girls now all of a sudden wanting you. If you did not invest in building your character before, when you find yourself in this situation with money, you are going to misbehave because you've never had money before. All you knew was ubaba usbanbani elokishini obenama tavern obenama bottle stores. You know, our typical businesses elokishini. All of a sudden you find yourself in this spot and it's new territory for you. You are not prepared for this. You grew up eKasi, uzithandela ukucula. All of a sudden you make it big. You've got this big contract, you are driving now big cars, you've got all these girls shouting your name. All of a sudden you are finding yourself in this territory. No one has prepared you for it. Even if somebody told you lalela ke ndoda yabona nje basikunika le mali, usuzoba ne-power manje, usuzoba ne-influence. Even if they tell you, but nothing prepares you for the actual experience. So it is very important, in my opinion, to be spiritually grounded. Because I usually say, there is nothing I fear more than someone who doesn't fear God. Because that person fears no one and nothing. So it is very important to be God-centered in your life. Even if you do not have an example of how to behave from Ekaya, from Elokshin, the Word of God has a way of grounding you as a person. Because the Word of God, how to be an all-round full human. It teaches you how to handle money. It teaches you how to handle relationships. It teaches you how to behave generally in society. So it is very important. I know it is not popular to talk about God. Imagine a politician standing a pulpit, standing a stadium. Yeah, we have to remember, we have to do God's mandate. The world is not interested in God. But that's the only thing that we need. Remember 2 Corinthians 7:14 uti. If my people, now not everybody else, but only my people who are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face. That is the most important thing we need to do, to seek the face of God, because it is there that we get guidance about how to behave and who to be as a people.
So let me ask, because I can see like you making a lot of reference to the church, and as a community we are all part. There are people who are part of different communities and being a part of the church as well. Do you think that the church is doing enough in terms of preparing the young boy to come into his place, to come into responsibility outside of just from a pulpit? Are there like how do you connect groups or whatever? What's the responsibility of the church to the young boy?
My leadership often says the church is the hope of the world. But when we say church, who are we talking about? Are we talking about the pastor? Are we talking about the board members? Are we talking about the ushers? Or are we talking about each and every member of the congregation?
Wow.
We will have impact as the church when the members of the church take full responsibility and stop expecting pastors and bishops to sort of walk on spiritual air and to be perfect, because none of us are perfect. You spoke earlier on about canceling. I don't know how you structure
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture. The same people who are canceling other people are guilty of the same crimes. It's just that they are not in the public eye. So we all need to take full responsibility and learn. And sometimes all these people, like I said earlier on, the people that we are canceling are people that are finding themselves for the first time in this a position of power. They've never seen anyone in this position, and they make one mistake, which is not fair. Just one mistake or two mistakes, and we are canceling them. But whoever rises has got their own faults. It may not be beating up women, but it may be alcohol. Maybe we don't know for now, but someone is struggling with alcohol. Someone is struggling with something out there. We are all struggling with something. I don't think it is fair to cancel people, because sometimes you get cancelled for a character trait that is not socially acceptable, only to find you are excelling at what you're doing. You cancel a sports person who's going to represent the country one day, but you'll find that person is struggling with something in terms of their character. How do we help them? That should be the question. But to say, we are sick and tired, hashtag we are sick and tired, we are canceling all these people, I think it's a mistake. We should find ways of helping people instead of just outright sibavalele ngaphandle, so to speak.
So we are seeing a movement amaningi, hashtag cancel culture, hashtag men are trash. It's movements as we find that women are at the forefront of them, because yes, Amachens are the perpetrators, right? Most of the time. And Mastabanga, Mthabela, we're talking about Guti as Amachens as Kuzani or Siasaba, I don't know. Are we effective, Maskuzana and Amachens? Is it something that we are doing right, or what's going on? Why was Emile Skuza one this man and why it's not Kuza? I don't know.
We need a lot of platforms where we will talk as Amachens. This is one of the good platforms that you've created. We need more of our platforms afana nalawo, because Maslele Konen, I'm old now, but I've had a lot of women growing up, because in Kulinga's good mind or Dangmel Bay Sol, Melvin and Machera Man, you know,
hey, when go shoot
Sponguches. Yeah, you know, sometimes I look back and realize, Guti, I've caused a lot of harm okuwukuthi these women are going to take all their heads into their next relationships. And I will not even feature in those relationships, but I'm the main culprit of why they are behaving the way they do. So I think it has gotten to a point where they are tired of being hurt. But unfortunately or fortunately, the way God created things is we need one another, whether we like it or not. We need abantu besifazane and they need us. We need to empower them. In fact, we don't need to empower women. We just need to get out of their way. Because we are the ones standing in the way of their progress. Because of our fear. So we don't need to give them power because we have to have power to give it in the first place. So we need to just stay out of their way. And the reason we stay in their way is because we are not, like you are saying, we are not advancing to the level where we ought to be. So we feel we need to pull them down in order because thina asifuni ukuba lapha, so sibhizi sidlalela la ekutheni masinginemali ngiyabangena labantwana. So we need to create more platforms that will help a boy child. Isizulu sithi libunjwa liseva. Whatever you are going to be in future, you need to be shaped today. Umthendo uhlaba usamila. The signs of a great man are fashioned today. So whatsoever a man is going to be, if as a little boy when uzoba mfana kama, uzoba mfana kagogo, you are not going to be a strong man because life is tough out there. So you need to learn ukudlula umbhedo semncane. Take all those responsibilities. Makuthiwa ngolwesithathu kufika itrack yomgqomo, chitha umgqomo. Don't make excuses for mntanakho esamncane because whatsoever they are becoming in future, you are shaping it today. So we need to look at, as parents, what are we doing to shape the future of our young people? If we are creating trashy men, bazojola neingane zikabani. Because we cannot trash men and raise good women. Because these good women are going to date these trashy boys. So teach them besabancane irresponsibility. Like I said when I opened earlier, as a young boy emakhaya, you learned irresponsibility ngokulusa. You learned to be strong. You are not going to run to your mother to say, Mama, come and fight my battles. But you fight your own battles. And manqeda nizozwana because there was a culture of manqeda ukugeza senvuza igazi nihamba nemfuleni yogeza wena geza lo ibazi zakhe nawe geza wena ibazi zakho, meaning you are becoming friends again. Eyamadoda yaphela hayi lento ekuthiwa eyamadoda ayipheli. No silungisa manje siyiqede. But now we have adopted ways that are un-African in Africa to deal with African issues. That's the challenge.
Maybe there's a greater responsibility on our side to teach the boys that are coming after us. But maybe where does that leave people of your generation, men of your generation? There are very few men who have this mentality that you have. Are we saying for them, are they in a hopeless situation?
Hey, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because once when amazinya u32 awusakhuzeki. You know? Yeah. And I was speaking with some guys, you know, sadly there are still people who believe umpazi uyashawa mfethu. Uthi mfethu umpazi ufana engane encane kumele umshaye umfundisi. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is my age and he's still thinking this way. He's still stuck in somebody said something very beautiful. He said abantwana baka Israel mabephuma eGibhithe, they still had the mentality of a golden calf. You remember when Moses was at the mountain, and he took long, and they said, "Good, bafethu Moses akasabuyi. What shall we do?" Somebody said, "No, let's create a god." So uNkulunkulu sebasusile eGibhithe, usebafake post 1994. We are in a land of milk and honey, but we are still thinking like the slaves of Egypt. Because even though sesiphumile, but the mentality of a golden calf is still in our mind. So we need to create more platforms afana nalawa where we will address with bafowethu. What do we do? How do I deal with inkosikazi or driver imoto ka 1 million rands when I'm driving a Toyota Tez, to make an example? How do I deal with that? How do I empower myself? How do we empower one another? We need to have platforms where sizokhulisana khona and change the mentality that we currently have as black people, as a nation now. If you look at Abelungu, how they keep wealth, they empower one another. Amandia, they empower one another. You find foreigners coming to South Africa, African foreigners, Somalians. They come here, they create some brotherhoods. How do we empower one another? But Tina, what do? We are not empowering one another. Instead, mangine tender, ngifuna ukunigcwalisela nonke, ngizoppressa nonke. One of the saddest thing I found, for example, Eskom is run by someone from Sierra Leone. Are you telling me there was no one in South Africa to take that position? I'm not saying when foreigners come to our land, they should no, we should not. But you will never find foreigners in key positions in other nations. At China, you will never find a black man running big corporations in China. You will never find us. Let me say this, which is very sad. I know maybe I'm off the topic. You will find ukuthi zonke izizwe zenza imali ngomuntu omnyama. But asikho isizwe umuntu omnyama enza imali ngaso. So what's the problem there? We are not strategizing. We are not creating platforms where we are saying, yes, we've got a black man forum or something like that, BMF. But are those forums impactful now? How are we, Tina, as this generation, creating forums that will influence someone who's still at school? Also, Puma Ati Angfunum Sebins, but I want to create work. I know we are doing headways in terms of creating entrepreneurs. Many young people are coming up with great ideas, such as this one. We can get people to come and talk. All we need to do is just get a sound and a camera, and we are up and running. Like I was saying earlier on, I'm stuck in the mindset that says go to the channel, pitch your idea, make money. But you guys are saying, no, we don't need to go to someone to ask for money. We've got an idea, let's run with it. We need people who will think like a new generation. We need people who will say, yeah, we see our fathers, they went to the bush, they fought for us to get freedom. Now that we have freedom, what do we do? So we need people who are going to be forward thinking, who are not going to be jealous of other people rising up, but who are going to say, like our freedom fighters, who's going to say, let me sacrifice myself, let my blood nourish the tree from which abantwana of the next generation are going to be getting our fruits. But today we are getting people who are saying, no, I'm nourishing this tree, I'm going to eat the fruit, and I'm not going to allow anyone else to eat the fruit of this tree. I would rather abole ama fruits from this tree than for someone else to benefit. We need a generation of forward-thinking individuals who are going to say, I'm sacrificing myself so that the next generation will enjoy the fruits.
Sure. No, I think that's for me. I think that's very insightful. Like,
you know what? I think Americans, they got it right when I can't remember which president said this. Do not ask what America should do for you. Ask yourself, what am I going to do for America? That's number one. That's number two, at a personal level. When you go into a relationship, ask yourself, what am I going to do for Lentombazane in this relationship? Not what is she going to do for me? If you are looking for someone who's going to do things for you, you are going to go into a relationship no more because of bagil or because he cleavage jackie pupuzelu boy. Which is not sustainable. But when you go into a relationship, you know what? I want to be a good husband to this woman. That is going to change the mindset. Even the decisions you make are the decisions as a Uguti, how am I serving this person? When you are serving your woman and she's happy, then she will serve you and you will be a happy husband. So we need to start changing the mindset of ourselves first. When you serve your woman, you will start to serve other women as well. Then you will not be a victim of your cancel culture.
You will not be a victim of cancel culture.
Yes.
No, I
Guys, hope you enjoyed that. But Muzi Mthabela, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for.
Sasiphelile isikhathi.
Hayi siphelile but man. Siphelile mara siphelanga man.
Mina ngisezoxoxa.
Yazi, we always sithi kancane so that we can leave room for you to come back again.
Sure.
Yeah, on
Sure.
a different topic.
And tell us how you got those guns.
Yeah, I mean,
But anyway,
No, it's prayer in a lot of water.
but yeah, maybe next time we're gonna bring you from a point of really empowering us as Amachita to start thinking in terms of developing ourselves from entrepreneurial. I think we need to like come up with innovative ideas in which we can sort of like develop ourselves in all avenues of life.
Let me throw a challenge.
Yeah.
What are you doing to empower at least 5 young people?
yo.
You don't have to wait until you have money.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to empower 5 young people? Let me make an example. 2 years ago, Bishop Doug Mills was preaching at Grace Bible Church. As he was preaching, he called one of his bishops. He didn't say anything to him. He just called him on stage and said, "Carry on." And he left and went behind the stage. He came back after about 5 minutes. When he left, this guy took over seamlessly from his sermon. He carried on preaching. When Doug Mills came back 10 minutes later, he took over and his sermon carried on seamlessly.
Sure.
For me, that said, he has duplicated himself in the people that follow him. Who are you creating? Who are you helping to create? When Mugabe left the office, he didn't leave someone with his mentality, which is why immediately when he left, the country was, the leadership was in turmoil. If you look at some of our political leaders who have been in their positions for a long time, they haven't left behind someone who is a duplicate of themselves, someone with the same vision. You don't have to leave someone who's going to be you, but leave someone who's going to have the same vision of the organization. So when you become successful at life, how many people are you taking with you? In 1999, I was watching a television. There was a show called The Take 5. They were interviewing Ubaba Don Matera. Don Matera says, if you are to look at life as a journey or as a race, when they say on the marks, when they say on the marks, get set, ready. And he said, before they say go, look around and see who you can take with you. Grab those people. Once you go, you run with them, so that at the end of the finish line, you have someone to celebrate with. How many people are you taking with you to celebrate at the end of your finish line, so that when you finish, they can carry on with the journey? That's the challenge.
Ramuzi, you know what?
Ngeke siqede.
You know, I think that was it. You know, you came through. You ended up actually challenging us now,
Yeah.
because everything that we're trying to do here is really challenge ingqondo zamajita.
Yeah.
And I think our responsibility now to make sure we try to instill some sort of values kumajita in terms of getting away from these platforms that were cancelled. I think it's really looking in our spheres now and really saying, how can we make sure we impact people's lives positively, and those that we see they have potential to become something greater tomorrow, and make sure when they assume that position and that responsibility, we would have at least instilled some sort of value that will see them not being cancelled. You know,
And if anything, all these negative platforms that are coming against us, Jens, actually shows how important it is for us to stand up and live to our full potential. You know, and I think
That is it.
yeah. Catch us
you.
on. Where can people follow you?
sorry, yes.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, you know him,
you
right?
know him. Yeah, I'm susile kwisikhundla sakhe but
Bangxoshile.
but yeah, where can people get in touch with you on social media?
I'm active only on Instagram.
Okay.
I've got a Facebook account, but I'm not active on Facebook. I've got a Twitter account. I'm not active on Twitter, but on Instagram it's Muzi Mthabela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, can catch us up on We Don't Say _TS across all social media platforms. Sirepil.
Siyabonga futhi.
Siyabonga.
Yo.